Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Project 460. When I talked to you about this mod 2 months ago, I wasn't bullshitting. It's a 8-week leading time to get it. I almost gave up on it because 2 months is a long ass time. But thing is here, I got it installed. I also did a couple of my innovations to make it more convenient and add some stuff that I can use. So let's talk about this thing. This is Ultra Swing made by Dirt.com, and this is the most expensive and, according to many people out there, the best hitch tire carrier on the market. Price on this thing, it's just a tad over $2,000. And how do you justify $2,000 for a hitch tire carrier? Well, in my case, I had to. So hear me out. You guys know I'm still riding on a stock suspension. Even though it's a Toyota suspension, it's strong, it's durable, and blah blah blah. Adding all this overland weight, as we call it, it will catch up. So you have to upgrade your suspension to be adding more weight, and you guys know. So, and the reason I'm on a stock suspension, because in a new house I got no clearance to exit or enter my garage. I am riding on a probably 1.5 inch gap, and that's about it. So lifting the truck, beefing up suspension to add extra more weight would not work for me, because I do not want to keep my truck outside. Reason for that, it's, well, I live in Florida, and Florida just knows we have something called Florida paint job, which is when you keep your vehicles outside exposed to Florida sun all the time. Well, you lose that paint job. Florida sun literally cooks it. So, you know, my cars are in the garage. They're gonna stay in the garage. Now, because of my sleeping quarters on the back, all my cargoes are, all my cargo sits on the top in these boxes above. My recovery gears, overlanding gear, camping gear, and all that. So these boxes not gonna go anywhere for me to remove them and then lift the truck. So that was not an option neither. And many of you are gonna say, like, well, you know, steel bumper. Well, of course, that's adding extra crazy weight. That's exactly what I'm talking about. For a couple $100 more, you could get steel real bumper that comes with a tire carrier, and probably some other add-ons. But that's a steel bumper with steel tire carrier attachment and everything else, and that's a lot of weight. I do not want to push my suspension, which needs to stay stuck for now, to the limits. So, be doing the research. This was my only option, and you know, I'm a guy, buy once, cry once kind of thing, and this kind of check all the boxes for me. Because good thing about this type of swing, it's, at least in the Dirt.com case, it's made out of 120, I think, chromoly tubing, which is tubing that a lot of companies use for rock sliders because it's super strong. And also automotive racing industry uses this type of steel tubing for race cars because it's light. So that was kind of my logic between for shedding the $2,000 on this thing, instead of, you know, shopping somewhere else and all that. Plus, I like some innovations that Dirt.com came with. Quality is obvious. There is no complaints there. I'm gonna go with the pros and cons a little later on in the video, but so that was my logic why I had to stick with a hitch tire carrier instead of steel bumpers with the carriers and all that crap. there is a few factors that played, at least in my case. That being said, well, let's talk about this thing. It's a one-hand operation. You have to pull the pin, which is kind of cool. Comes with a little lanyard and a bottle opener. And then one-hand operation. You unlatch it, pull it back. Oh, look at that. Makes a little song for you. And you open that thing. Everything that you see in the back, well, doesn't come with it. That's something that some of my innovations for this thing, because I was planning this thing for a while, and I wanna. This was one of the carriers that kind of complements the stuff that I was thinking about doing, and blah blah blah. Not to bother you with all the details, we get to that a little bit later. So this is the tire carrier. Cool thing about they're all individually numbered, if you guys can see. Towing capacity, tank capacity, and all that. Pretty high numbers just because of the strength. There is no wobble in this thing. I already tested it running in my neighborhood through a construction site because I was just curious. No wobble, and that it's because of the no wobble system that they use, which is on the back, a big bolt that you see, and it's tightened from behind, so you are directly on that bolt instead of a lot of company. You got to you tighten the anti-wobble system through the front with a long extension, and you lose a lot of torque there. Technicality, not gonna bother you with that. Cool thing about this thing, it's a lot of parts that they're gonna be used and abused are replaceable. Which, let's say this little stopper, which helps carrying all the weight, so the weight doesn't sit on this humongous bolt. These stoppers, they are unscrew, they are replaceable. This pad is replaceable. And something else I forgot somewhere up front. So they give you this option to replace these things in case they do fail eventually through the years of using and abusing. So that's why they call it probably the best tire carrier on the market, and that kind of justifies the price. I mean, the material, innovation, and everything else, I know it's expensive, but it is what it is. This one worked for me because I was planning to relocating my water port and building the box and some other accessories that I'm gonna mention later. So the whole setup was brewing in my head, and that's the reason I went with this option. So after all that being said, let's talk about a few negatives about this tire carrier. First of all, the price, of course, we already went through that. Second part is all the accessories are extra. I mean, they could include some, they did, but they could include some extras in the price range, but especially lately, everything else that you wanna add as a table, as arms and attachments is extra. I don't know how the other companies do, but just in case, for example, when they first came out with this tire carrier, for example, this Rotopax adapter was free, was included. Well, now these days they don't include it no more. You pay 25 bucks. Second thing, for example, this arm here is also extra. It's $120, I think. In my case, wasn't necessary because other attachments I was planning to put on. So that's one other thing, kind of negative. And the last complaint of mine would be, as you can see, where my license plate sits. Well, not supposed to be there, supposed to be here. which is these two holes are, this is where you run the two bolts and include your license plate bracket. Well, my license plate is here and it says license plate right, and this is the left hand swing. So somebody at DIRCOM don't know how to read, and of course I have a wrong, they sent me the wrong bracket. Why is wrong? Even though it's pretty nice and it's included in the price, comes with a little light and pre-wiring thing, well, there is no way to attach it, because if you see on the back, this part, this is what, when these bolts come out, one goes through here, one goes to the bottom on the little slider, so it's adjustable, and this is what happens in this case. So one will be attached there, this is how it's supposed to look like. One will be attached there and one will be attached here. As you can see, my attachment bracket is on the wrong side, because this is for a license plate right, because they also make this carrier in a right hand side opening. So that's the boo-boo on their part. I already contacted them. They will be sending correct brackets and return shipping ticket for this thing. Knowing the trail swing or DIRCOM, who knows how long I have to wait for that to arrive for me to install it. So I had to improvise, and this is what I come up with. So, because there is no wiring running through my original license plate setup, there is no, as you can see, no wires running, because this is a temporary solution. I came up with the idea and I installed a little solar light on the top. Now, this is how this works, right? During the daytime, because the sensor, the thing is off, and the nighttime comes on. But it's not continuous coming on, it's only when in motion because of the sensors on the bottom. So it works perfectly. It's charging during the day, exposed to a sun, of course, so it doesn't take long, and only comes at night when the car is in motion. And of course you are not always in the motion, so at the stoplight after 13 seconds would probably come off. Hopefully there is no cops behind babysitting me, and then as soon as you start with your drive, license plate is lit up again. That's something I have to roll with till correct bracket arrives. You guys remember, before I continue, I used to have my Yakima shower on the top, but my cargo boxes took all the real estate, so I had to think my water setup a little bit differently, and what I come with, I had to change the whole system. I still have a Yakima. I might actually put it up for sale, or maybe a cool giveaway on the channel, so which is most likely, because I love you guys. And my water setup ended up being this way. So as you can see, my water port fits perfectly here. One good thing about the trail swing is all these holes that you can use as attachments. So I basically just ran two bolts through the other side and attached my water port. It's a 4-gallon water port. I'm not gonna go into details so that you guys know. And if you're wondering what this stupid tape is, well, I did have to grind down a little bit the water port logo, because it's one that kind of sticks out, and that was touching my tailgate, which I did not want to. So I grind it down, and it's still not finished, so I was kind of done with the project for the day. I slammed the tape so not to cause any damage, even though now it's not touching. Second thing, This is my box with all water related hoses, valves, and little compressor, and all 9 yards. This little bracket I had laying around, and I came on with the idea to attach it to this arm also, so the whole thing it's kinda in a one spot. And this spacing here is for my roto packs or my recovery tracks. I don't know what's gonna go there yet. You guys know I carry some on top, so 2 will go on top and 1 goes on this side. Not much else to say. When I'm done with the license plate bracket, the whole setup will be finished. Like, subscribe, share, and thank you for watching. Bye bye.